Since it sprouted in 1974, Solid Ground has supported nearly 2 million people on their journey to overcome poverty. Solid Ground has indirectly impacted millions more through our work cultivating a lush landscape of community leaders and organizations. Some of our community's most impactful social service and social justice organizations were first sown in the Solid Ground seedbed and now flourish on their own. Organizations like Lehigh, the Seattle Food Committee, Access Transportation, and the Economic Opportunity Institute. Some of our region's most influential and effective leaders also spent time with Fremont Public Association and Solid Ground as staff, volunteer, and participants. They have gone on to foster justice, equity, and healthy communities across Western Washington and beyond.
Our whole reason to exist was the phrase freedom from poverty through action, and that led to a whole large number of programs and advocacy efforts that led to a lot of social change in the state. Because if people can say, okay, I've got emotion about this issue, whether people are hungry, or they're homeless, or they lack health care, or they don't get a good education, what are we going to do about it? And then the key is to turn that dynamic, that emotion, into action, and that's where you create leadership.
Housing and homelessness have long been at the core of our work. Our alumni pioneer and develop new models of low-income housing, provide leadership to the federal government, run critically needed organizations, and bring innovations learned in our community to cities across the country.
Lehigh saw this very strong connection with Fremont. It was almost like we were launched out of Fremont. I believe in aggressively building thousands of units, and I believe in kick-ass advocacy.
Vulnerability is a superpower. I know what it feels like to not have anything and to be asking for help. Here we go. And so Broadview Shelter opened up that door for me because I saw the flyer there that the then Seattle Rape Relief was training people to be volunteers on their sexual assault crisis line. Was a huge opportunity. I went and I did it, and I've been working in that work off and on for the last 30 years, always with Spanish-speaking community, and it really set the foundation for the work I'm doing. That's what being a client here helped with, right? There's no way I would have had that insight otherwise. How could I?
The Fremont Public Association's first program was the Fremont Food Bank. For half a century, we worked hard to make sure everyone had access to the fresh and healthy food they need and deserve. We started the Seattle Food Committee, as well as City Fruit, Family Works Super Pantry, Cooking Matters, and other initiatives to get fresh produce and nutritional education to people.
I work at Young Women Empowered, Why We. Our mission is to cultivate the power of diverse young women and gender-expansive youth to be creative leaders and change makers in their communities. The beauty of a seed is that it's all in the seed, you know? The full plant, it's like a little bit of lunch that gets it far enough to put in roots and have its first leaves. It's all in this powerful package of the seed. And so really, like, every young person is that seed. Every human is that seed. But we get to support them in that cultivation of what's already there. So my role at Solid Ground was a nutrition and garden educator in elementary schools. It was like that soaking phase where I got to, be prepared to be planted.
We can't solve poverty or end racism without the wisdom and leadership of those who have experienced it. So we support people to share their experiences with those in power and advocate for equitable policies.
You got people that think power runs everything. It doesn't run everything. It's nice to have if you know how to use it and share it. Share some of that power with people. I got this invite to do this project. The governor is putting together these groups. So I went to the first meeting. I was so scared. Here I am, and here's all these bigger people. We work very closely with the poverty reduction work group. We've had our winnings, we've had our losses, we've had our struggles, our compromise, but with the strength of the steering committee, with the strength of the bigger work group, the support from Governor Inslee, we did it.
I think first and foremost, if you're going to take a leadership role, no matter what it is about who you're accountable to. The solutions exist everywhere. You just have to ask, and you have to engage people who are affected most to provide those first. Much of my work is centered on building a new team to revolutionize the way state government approaches environmental justice and works with folks that are most affected by environmental injustice. I think Solid Ground informed my sense of leadership pretty substantially. It was the first job where it was really formalized, where your job is to create more leaders. I was taught when you create leaders, you are creating power that didn't exist before.
When good people of conscience, when people of all races come together, we're going to affect change. I think the impact for Solid Ground has been coalition building. We were shown over and over the power of unity and working together. And Fremont Public Association and Solid Ground, we're always there also, and pulling different sectors together, but always from a multiracial perspective.
We touched on just a few of the names and organizations that have been nurtured in our gardens. There are countless other stories, including those of many of you. No one organization can end poverty or undo racism, but that's why we will continue to nurture talent, support developing organizations, and build the strong partnerships it takes to sustain movements that make our community stronger.